Welcome to Southside Church. Our service is about to begin in 3 minutes. Please make your way into the auditorium and find a seat.
Strong and courageous when I don't feel like I am. You could have turned me away, but you chose me instead. You say that I'm gonna make it when I don't feel like I can. See the battle I'm facing in your stead. You're in it with me, working through me, fighting for me. God is not against me. You're in it with me, working through me, fighting for me. God is not against me. I have a I am an instrument of exaltation. I was born to lift the name above all names. You hear the melody of all creation, but there's a song of praise that only I can bring. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only Jesus. You are the infinite God of the ages. Yeah, you chose to make my heart your dwelling place. You heal my brokenness, show me your glory. So I have songs of thanks not even angels sing. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Oh, you're worthy, Jesus. Oh, you're worthy, Lamb of God, anointed one, who was and is to come, seated on the throne above. Holy, holy, the righteous one who shed his blood, proved to us the Father's love. Jesus Christ be lifted up. Holy, holy, Lamb of God, anointed one, who was and is to come, seated on the throne above. Holy, holy, righteous one who shed his blood to prove to us. Jesus Christ be lifted up. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. There is no one, only you, Jesus. There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. guys can take a seat.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maddie, and it's an honor to be here with you all today. If Southside is new for you, I want to say a huge welcome here. It doesn't matter if you're watching online or in person or where you're at with your faith. We are so glad that you are here, and we would love to hear from you. All you have to do is just text the keyword hello to our phone number, 604-670-3040. You'll get a link back to our digital connections card that will help us get to know you and help us answer any questions that you may have. We'll even send you a $5 Starbucks card as a welcome here gift. The countdown is on, and we are gearing up for our financial learning experience one-night event next Sunday evening. If the mention of finances fills you with anxiety or questions, I could not encourage you more to join us for FLE. This can be the year that you win with your finances, and FLE will teach you the tools to make this your most successful financial year yet. Everything from how to build a budget that works, how to get out of debt, and how to begin saving, and how to put God at the center of your finances. Joe Sangel is the founder of the Financial Learning Experience, and he'll be with us next week teaching live. Free childcare is provided, so make it a date night or grab some friends to join you here next Sunday evening from 6:30 to 8:30. Text us the letters FLE for all the information and to register today. Today, I want to tell you an update on our little friend, Ashton. Ashton is a 6-year-old Southside kid who was born with hydrocephalus, autism, and cerebral palsy. As a baby, he battled through surgeries and many hospital stays. He fought hard to stand and walk, laughing with his parents, big sisters, and little brother all the time. In July of last year, Ashton's family received news that he has a brain tumor. And after more tests and an extended hospital stay, the doctors diagnosed Ashton with leukemia. This devastating news came with plans for rounds of aggressive chemotherapy and a 7-month stay in Children's Hospital for Ashton for round-the-clock medical care. If you're new to Southside, something that you'll begin to hear over and over is that we can't do everything, but we can always do something. And so as a church, we committed to praying for Ashton and the Robinson family. We continue to pray for his miraculous healing, wisdom for his medical team, peace for his parents and siblings, and strength for his little body. And beyond thoughts and prayers, we made a plan to bless them and other families like them with tangible help. Because of the generosity of ordinary people like you and me, our church began our Sunshine Fund in 2018. Through our Sunshine Fund, we were able to help financially support the Robinson family as Ashton's parents split time between Chilliwack and Vancouver, rotating staying at the hospital and being at home with his siblings. And today we are beyond excited to report that this little fighter Ashton is now in remission. This doesn't mean that he's completely cancer-free yet, but the Robinson family is so much closer to being able to bring their brother home. The war isn't over yet, but we are so glad that we get to celebrate the significant victory in their fight. Ashton, we love you. We're committed to praying for you, and we are believing for your continued healing. We're praying and cheering you on the whole way. And for the rest of us, you should know that this is just who we are. It's in our DNA to make Jesus known by bringing help, hope, and home to our city and this hurting world. The Sunshine Fund, every Sunday morning and every opportunity that we have to bless someone through our ministry here, all of it is funded by ordinary people like you and me. This isn't a church of extraordinarily wealthy people. We just know that we can't do everything, but together we can always do something. There's no mission like this mission, and we are so glad that you are a part of it. Today may be the day that you give for the first time here at Southside, putting God at the center of your finances and helping to fund life change through our church. If that's you, we are celebrating with you as you take this bold step of generosity with us. You can give right from your seat by texting the keyword GIVE to 604-670-3040. You'll get a link back to all your online giving options so you can choose the one that's right for you. And if online giving isn't your thing, the Giving Desk team in the lobby would love to help you give in person. So now it's time that we head into the message portion of our service. Today we get to hear from an awesome friend of Southside, Jordan Alejandro. Jordan is a local pastor, a gifted storyteller, and someone who is passionate about teaching people about Jesus. I know God has something specific that He wants to speak to each and every one of us, so please remember to silence your phones and remain seated. Enjoy the rest of the service.
What's up? Yeah, let's go, Southside. It's good to see you. Thank you, Video Maddie. My name is Jordan. Like Maddie said, I've been a pastor at Village Church in Surrey. We've been a part of that community for about 14 years now. A little bit about me. I'm married. Me and my beautiful wife, we've been married now for about 15 years. Yeah, you can celebrate that. I got one woo. Thank you. Holla at your boy. But no, we got 4 amazing kids, and we had all 4 kids within 5 years. And I love when I tell people, I know I get a couple people, I love when I tell people that, because usually I get like a couple different responses of like, wow, you guys are really busy, right? Like, or you're in the thick of it. Or sometimes they make it really, really awkward. This is a picture of my family, by the way. They make it really awkward when my kids, like they're running around, they're being maniacs, being kids. And they'll say like, you know how that works, right? Like, you know how kids are made, and I don't know how to respond oftentimes in those situations, and I get nervous, and I kind of get clammed up, and so I just make something up, and I'm like, yeah, we adopted, and then I find it just messes with their brain long enough where I can run away and hide. I grab my kids, I'm like, guys, quick, come over here, that guy's creepy, and so we run and hide. But I've been a pastor now for a total of 16 years, and I've owned my own business. I've been a chief operating officer of a publishing company. I grew up in the US. Please don't hold that against me. Congratulations, Canada. You are the better hockey team. We admit that. Yeah. Before you clap, you had to use overtime to get it, so don't, like, how awkward that have been if you lost that game, right? The one thing you were good at, like, Don't ask me about tariffs either, though, please. Like, I don't know. I'll just tell you right now, I don't know anything about politics or any of that stuff. Just save it for somebody else. But before I was a lead pastor, I was a youth pastor. I worked for Young Life, and over and over in my life, and as I've been a pastor, I learned this one kind of common theme. There's been this common theme in my life, and it's that if I'm going to do something, I tend to find the difficult way to do it. Like, I tend to find the hard way to do it. And there's this thing that happens to me in my brain after I do these difficult things. It's called remuneration, or it's called cognitive processing. And if you don't know what that is, it's when you replay a situation over and over in your brain after it happens, trying to make sense of it because it was traumatic in some way, shape, or form, right? It's like that guy who's like in a movie, and it's like he got made fun of, and then he thinks of the comeback like 10 minutes. He's like, I should have said this. Right? Like, that happens to me often. One of those situations that happens to me often was when I was a youth pastor. I was this situation where we decided as a youth pastor, I was in Seattle, and we decided that we would go to a youth conference. So I decided we'll take 15 kids. I had 2 other leaders. We're going to rent a 15-passenger van, cram all 18 of us in, and head down to Southern California for this conference. And if you know anything about me, if you've ever taken a road trip with me, my family can attest to this. I'm not one of those people that like, it's about the journey type of thing. Like, I'm like a typical dad. I'm like, no, get in, shut up, sit down. We're not doing bathroom breaks. We're going to bomb down there. We made it down there in like a record time. Like, we didn't stop. We didn't do bathroom breaks or anything. I don't know how we did it with 15 kids in there, but we did it. We got down there in record time. But here was the problem. We didn't really plan this trip very well. We got down there 2 days early for this conference. And we didn't know what to do. And again, we didn't plan this trip very well, so we didn't really bring a lot of money. If we would have brought money, maybe we could have went to Disneyland. But I was like, hey, no problem. We'll just go to the beach. We'll go to the beach for 2 days. And so that's what we did. We went to the beach the first day. But here was the problem. Remember I told you we didn't plan the trip very well? That we didn't bring any sunscreen. And so that first day we got roasted, like absolutely roasted. Like, I'm talking lobster red. Like, me and some of the kids were like boils on our bodies. Like, it was like welting up. And so we were like, great, okay, so we got one day taken care of. What about the next? Like, we obviously can't go outside. I was like, I didn't want to go outside. And then it happened. This is the situation I'm talking about. We're sitting around in the hotel lobby, and one of the boys, and for the sake of the story, we're gonna call him Jose. His real name is George. Jose comes to me and says, hey, look. He goes, I have an idea. Can I tell you something? If you're sitting around looking for something to do, I have an idea. I don't think there's been anything good that's ever come after that phrase. Not once in the human history of life has anyone said, I have an idea, when they're sitting around looking for something to do, that something good has happened. And so here's what Jose says. He goes, Jose said, like, I have an idea. We should ghost ride the whip. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, there's this viral trend that's happening right now called ghost ride the whip. And I'm like, I should have stopped him right there, but my only question was, like, being sunburned, uncomfortable, I'm like, is it free? And he goes, yeah, bro. Oh, it's free. And so he starts to explain what we're gonna do. He's like, what Ghost Ride the Whip is we're gonna find a big empty parking garage. And we'll get in there, and then we'll what you do is you get in the car, you start it up, you put it in drive, and everyone gets outside of the car. And I'm like, yeah, then what? He's like, then you put on music. I'm like, okay, he's like, and then you walk outside of the car, like the car's driving itself, and then you make a rap video. He's like, why don't we do that? And I'm like, he started to lose me a bit there, because I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm sunburned, I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to do that. And he goes, Jordan, like, he sees that he's losing me. He's like, Jordan, hey, relax, bro. He's like, we decided, we got together. Like, when did you get together? Like, we've been together the whole time. He's like, we got together, and we decided you should pick the song. Like, Jose was buttering me up like a slice of bread. I was like, how could I say no? I was like, yeah, okay, Jose, let's do it. So I picked Tupac, California Love. We're in Cali, what else would I pick, right? And so we get to this empty parking garage. We get all set up. We put the van into drive. We get outside of the car. But Jose left out this very important minor detail, that there's features on vans that say that you should probably be in the car while you're driving it, but you should also leave the doors open. And so what happened was after we got all set up, we got to put on the music, we got outside the car, we put the thing in drive, we're walking alongside of it, we all close the doors, and then we hear this sound. The door's locked. It's a sound that haunts my dreams. Even every time I drive now, I hear that stupid sound. I'm like, oh, Jesus. So we had to sit outside of this stupid van to watch it slowly careen towards a brick wall at this high-flying speed of 6 kilometers an hour. There's nothing we could do. It crashed into the wall. I learned 2 things that day. Number 1, they don't ever trust Jose. He's a liar. Don't ever trust anybody. As a matter of fact, don't ever trust anybody when they say, I have an idea, if you're bored. Number 2, don't decline the extra insurance. I learned that one the hard way. Guys, okay, can I tell you another story? By the way, this is my first job that I got out of Bible college, out of seminary, as a pastor out of church. I was the youth pastor there. So this is the same church. The pastor on my first Sunday there goes, hey, Jordan, would you do communion? Like, would you lead the congregation in communion? Like, he didn't prep me or at all. Like, so I didn't know what I was doing. Now, I'd taken communion. I'd done that before. And so he goes, hey, would you lead us in communion? And I got up and I led communion. I said crap 7 times in my communion pitch. I said it 7. You know how I know I said it 7 times? Because afterwards, the pastor called me into his office and he's like, Jordan, guess what? You said crap 7 times during a communion pitch. And I was like, oh, crap, I did? Like, I didn't even realize it. Okay, get this. You want to hear another one? I know these guys, yeah. Tell me another one. I took the youth group down to Mexico on a mission trip. Like, we're gonna go to Ensenada, like help out some kids or something like that at an orphanage. And I was always told, and I don't know if this was the movies or my bad older brother, but I was always told that if you get pulled over in Mexico, just slip the cop a $20 bill. Right? Has anyone else heard this? Like, it's not just me, right? Like, slip the cop a $20 bill, he'll let you go on your way. So I get pulled over, I ran a red light in Ensenada, Mexico, and I said, hey. Right? And that's when the cop, and I don't know much Spanish other than the Taco Bell menu, that's where he tells me to get out of the car and starts putting me in handcuffs. And so all that to say, I've got this amazing track record at this church, and as a pastor, I've found quite a few things, and even in life, And there seems to be this common theme in my life that I've learned that if I'm gonna learn something, I learn it the hard way. But even when I think of all my years in ministry and running my own business and experience in the church, can I tell you what I remember and what I don't remember? I don't remember the sermons. I don't even remember the sermons that I preached half the time. Like, I don't remember that stuff. But here's what I remember. I remember the experiences. I remember the people. I remember the friends. I remember the community that we made along the way. And there's been times as a pastor that I've seen some incredible things, but there's also been times as a pastor where I've seen some awful things and hardships along the way. And it would have been easy to quit, or it would have been easy to say, you know what, we're done. Oh, Jesus, we love you, but we don't like your people very much. But can I tell you why we stayed? We stayed because even though there was awful people in there were some amazing people there as well. And there were some people that poured into our lives. There were people that cared for us and served us well as we served them. You know, oftentimes, like as a pastor now, as I'm pastoring a church, we have new people that come in all the time, and oftentimes they come in because of the same reason. They come in because maybe the preaching, or maybe because of the worship, or maybe because they saw a thing online. Maybe they saw one of our, our TikTok reels or Instagram reels. But can I tell you why they stay? They stay because they find community, or they leave because they don't. They stay because they find people that they connect with, or they leave because the culture's toxic and it's like this Christian country club. Or maybe they stay because they find people who love each other and are serving Jesus together. And that's what I want to talk about today, is this aspect of community. Why community is so important, why it's not only a foundational aspect of our faith, it's probably one of the most imperative things that we can do as followers of Jesus in 2025. And so I've had this question that's just rolling around in my brain lately, that once you have everything, once you have it all, because that's kind of the goal, isn't it? Or at least that's what we're told the goal is, to get everything, right? Every time we turn on Netflix, every time we turn on social media, it's like, it's all the cars, it's the houses, the vacations, it's all this stuff. But my question is once you have it all, what are you gonna wish that you still had? Because in life and even in business, I've had so much, but can I tell you, the things that matter were the people. And once you have it all, you're gonna realize that there's something still missing. And there was someone in the scriptures who had it all, who had everything we're told that matters, everything that we're told that we should fight for, everything that we're told that we should work for, everything that we're told that we should hustle for. Everything that we're told that we should aspire to be. There was a man named Solomon who had it all. He was born the son of a king. He became the king after David had died. He became the most powerful person in the world at that time. He became perhaps the richest man to ever walk the earth. He had more wealth, more power, more fame, and respect than anyone could ever imagine. He had everything a human being could measure as success. And yet Solomon, he leaves us with just a couple books. He writes the Song of Solomon when he's young and in love and idealistic. It's juicy too if you want to give it a read. He writes the book of Proverbs as a father, sharing wisdom about life. And then he writes the book of Ecclesiastes when he's coming to the end of his life, and he seems to have these overwhelming regrets. And here's the thing, I don't think it's just me that learns these lessons the hard way. I think that's all of us. Matter of fact, we like one of the things I say all the time is like the hardships and the failures are our greatest teachers in life. It's not from times of success. It's not from times of ease, but from times of hardships that we actually grow and we learn and we're taught about who we are created to be. And so here Solomon is at the end of his time reflecting on his life, and I think this will help us understand what's important. So this verse and this passage that I'm going to be preaching out of is in chapter 4, and it's verses 9 through 12. So if you have your Bibles, you can open them up. If you don't have your Bibles, you can pull out your phone, that little Bible app, just boop, boop, push that, go to Ecclesiastes, or we're going to put it up on the screen for you. And the funny part about this verse, it's often known as one that you would use in weddings. And so I know it seems obscure reading this morning, but I have been doing a lot of weddings lately. I've got more coming up, so it's just been rattling around in my brain. And by the way, if you're here at Southside and you're just new to this whole Jesus thing, you're just checking this out. Maybe you're not even a Christian yet. I want you to know that's okay. It's okay to be exploring that. And I want you to know these words today aren't just for the people who call themselves Christians in this room. These are for you as well, because these are truths for every human being. So Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9, Solomon writes this observation of life. He says, "For two are better than one because they have a good reward on their toil. For if they fall, they will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if two lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him." And then he wraps up with this really interesting metaphor. He says, "A threefold cord is not quickly broken." And Solomon makes this observation that I think is reflective of his life, where he comes to the end of his life. He's got more wealth. He's got more money. He's got more than any person could possibly want or need. It says he had 1,000 horses, 1,000 concubines. His fame spread across the world. He lives in this time where there's relative peace. There's no war happening. He was kind of like, in my brain, I'm picturing like the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, the Bill Gates of his time. I don't think he was trying to colonize Mars. It doesn't say that, it's not clear, but to each his own. But everything you could measure, everything that he had, he's now looking at the end of his life, and you could sense in his words that he seems to feel desperately alone in the world. So he's speaking from this personal experience that two are better than one. And I know the struggle that we go through in life, where we wonder if anyone will be there for us. Have you ever felt that in your life? Is there anybody that's gonna be there for me? All the people that I've ever met, all the people that I've ever known, all the people that I've invested in over the years, at the end of it, will anybody be there for me? Maybe you even had that one person in your life that was your ride or die that said they would be with you to the end, and they're gone now. Remember high school? End of the year, yearbooks, you write all that stupid things in the back of people's yearbooks. You're like, "Dear Brock, BFFs for life, bro," right? Holler at your boy this summer. Never hear from him. "Janelle, you're so sweet. BFFs for life." I don't know why I'm a Southern woman there, but. You didn't hear from Janelle. Janelle ain't calling. She ain't texting. It's easy to point our finger and say, these people aren't there for me. But can I flip that question for a sec? Who are you there for? Instead of always waiting for someone to be that one person who shows up for you, that one person who's always there, can I ask you, who in your life are you refusing to leave behind? Who are you gonna be there for? See, Solomon had every single opportunity to bring people along with him. He had enough fame, he had enough wealth, he had every resource imaginable. And yet at the end of his life, when you look at his life, you realize he was there for little to nobody. He realized that he was enough until he got to the end of his life, when he was standing alone by himself, where he felt extremely lonely and desperate, and life seemed meaningless. But here's the thing, it's not just this biblical principle. I think this is this universal understanding that God's imprinted on every human being. Listen to what Friedrich Nietzsche said. This is an atheist philosopher who says this. He says, "It's not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes marriages unhappy." Mark Twain, famous author, said this. He said, "Good friends, good books, a sleepy conscience is the ideal life." Bill Watterson, the guy who wrote Calvin and Hobbes. Anyone know what Calvin and Hobbes are? It's that boy and the tiger, right? The cartoon thing. They're cute, they're the best. He says this, I love what he says, "Things are never quite as scary when you have a best friend." Muhammad Ali, boxer, activist, says friendship is the hardest thing in the world to explain. It's not something you learn in school, but if you haven't learned the meaning of friendship, you really haven't learned anything. Henry Ford, "My best friend is the one who brings out the best in me." Woodrow Wilson, former president, said friendship is the only cement that will ever hold the world together. One of my favorite TV shows is a TV show called Alone. You guys seen this show? And what they do is they take 10 survivalists, and they take them and they give them some primitive tools. They get to select like from this list of primitive tools, and they drop them off in the middle of the woods, and whoever can survive the longest wins $500,000. Like, that's the premise of the show. Now, you're asking like, hey, if you've never seen the show, like, they video themselves, okay? So they're not just like that camera crew there, and then as soon as the cameras go off, they're like eating all the whatever. No, that's not it. They're actually filming themselves doing this. Can I tell you why people quit or they leave the show? Number one, it's because they're starving, they're hungry, right? It's just like, I'm done with this, I'm starving. But let me tell you the number 2 reason, actually. The number 2 reason that these people quit, they quit because they get to this point where it's like the money is not a thing anymore. They don't care about the money. What they start to do is they start to miss their family. They start to miss their friends. They start to miss like the times, like the birthdays that their kids are having. And then what they start to realize is look, life isn't about money. Life isn't about all these things. Life is actually about the people. And what's funny to me even about this is that these people that are on the show, have you ever met like any survivalist? They're a goofy group, and I love them to death. But there are people that would rather be, seemingly at least, rather be with trees and animals. And even they come to this realization that I don't want to do life without people. And whether it's Nietzsche or Mark Twain or former presidents or these tree-hugging survivalists that like to be alone, they realize the same truth that life is better together. So can I ask you a question? Once you have it all, what are you going to wish you still had? Do you have one person in your life outside of your family? Talking about that friend for life, that person when they need you, that you'll show up. That when they call you at 3 a.m., that you'll answer, that you'll pick up. That person when they need you, that they can share their hopes, their dreams, their fears, their secrets, because you're that safe person. Can I ask you a question? Are you a good friend? Emphasis on the good. Do you have good friends? Now, oftentimes I get the question when I do weddings and things like that, or people who are exploring even just like the aspect of dating, they're like, how do I know the one? It's hard, it's difficult to understand the one. I don't even know if there's such thing as the one. It's the one that you end up picking, I think is the one. But how do I know the one? How do I identify that person? And I'm like, well, in order to identify, you have to be able to identify the one who it isn't. And so I put together this list of 5 things, that the difference between 5 different things between good friends and bad friends. And by the way, this isn't just for friendship. This is for relationships. This is for dating. This is for marriage. Take this list and take it with you. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. I want you to ask yourself if you're a good friend. Let me tell you what a good friend does. A good friend will encourage you. They'll build you up. They'll actually not only encourage you and build you up, but they'll push you and guide you towards Jesus. A bad friend will lead you into destructive behavior because that's what's easy. A good friend, they're loyal. They stand beside you in difficult times, regardless of how difficult it is. Bad friends will abandon you when you need them the most because that's what's easy. Good friends will speak the truth even when it's hard because they care about your growth. Bad friends will flatter you for selfish reasons, often leading you astray. Good friends will promote peace and reconciliation in your life with relationships. Bad friends bring anxiety and they stir up discontent. Good friends will support you in their struggles. Bad friends will deceive you and mislead you for their own benefit. And what's interesting is that in these verses, these different arenas that Solomon touches on here, that 2 are better than 1, for they have a good reward on their toil. Another word is labor for that. And what he's saying is if you want to be successful, you have to do it with people. That if you really want to be successful, if you really want to accomplish the goals and the dreams for your life, that you need to realize that you can build a lot more with people than you can by yourself. And this is the same truth even with our finances. It's funny how our finances can be this like microcosm of our life because the reason, listen to this, the reason why we're able to be here today, the reason why we're able to gather here today, the reason why we're able to worship together today is because people have been building into this very concept of this. They've been investing into something that's more than just their own needs. They've been investing into your needs. And the giving our finances, oftentimes it's this litmus test, if you will, and it can show you whether or not you're building a life for yourself or for others. And oftentimes giving, it can feel uncomfortable because it demands that you care about someone besides yourself. And so what Solomon is trying to tell us or even ask us in these verses is who are you going to build with? Who are you going to people that you're going to measure your life by? That if you succeed without them, it's not true success. And let me tell you something. For me, I'm in my church. I don't want a country club type of church. A church that just comes, they gather, they hang out, and they chit chat, and then they go home. Can I tell you what success looks like for me and my church? It's a church of people who care about each other, who push each other towards Jesus, who are in each other's lives, who not only stop there, but they actually then go and take that into their cities. They take that to their neighborhoods. They care about the places that they live. They care about the people that they see on the street. And I'll tell you what, if I build a church that has a ton of people and we don't do these things, I'm failing. Can I ask you a question? Once you have it all, once you have everything, what are you going to wish you still had? And in verse 12, it goes on to say, though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. And I love this. I love this because life is a fight. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. Life is a fight. And if you're going to fight life and these challenges alone, you're going to find yourself exhausted and overwhelmed and beat down. But when you have someone else in your life and you're there for them, listen to this. If you're there for other people, when you're in those moments where life is a fight, what you'll start to notice is those people will start showing up for you. You're gonna have big fights in your life because you're gonna have big dreams. I don't know if anyone else in here has big dreams. But if you have big dreams, you're gonna have huge challenges. You're gonna have huge fights. Have you ever prayed that prayer like, Jesus, do something great in my life? God, do something amazing in my life. Can I tell you what you're actually praying? You're praying, God, bring me the biggest challenges you could ever dream up. What you're praying is God, bring me some hard things, because I'll tell you what, you can't have good things in your life. You can't have amazing things in your life without going through those difficult times. But the idea is that you don't have to do that alone. Can I tell you what my dream is for you, Southside? My prayer and my dream for you is that you would see tremendous growth. And I don't even mean people-wise, although I think that will come as well. But I mean growth in you guys, that you would come closer to know Jesus and who Jesus is, that you guys would be a church that would be honed in with your relationship with Christ, so much so that people would come here and they would find the hope and the peace of Jesus. And then not only that, would it start to spread beyond that? Would people even start to see Southside as this place, this refuge, this place where people could come and find hope? That it would spread beyond that to outside of here, to Chilliwack, to Hope, to Abbotsford. But I need you to know it's going to come at a great cost. And you have to know that the staff and the volunteers can't do that alone, that they actually need you to be a part of that. It's a fight. It's a fight worth fighting. Can I ask you a question? Once you have it all, what are you going to wish you still had? Solomon, he wraps up this thought with this last line where it says, a threefold cord is not quickly broken. And now why I use this at weddings is really because of this final line, because marriage together with God at the center really becomes this cord that's incredibly difficult to break. And I do a lot of premarital counseling. Matter of fact, I won't do a wedding without doing premarital counseling. And I usually talk to couples how it's no longer just you versus the world, but it's you and your spouse with God at the center, and you guys woven together that actually become this new unstoppable force. And that if you lean in on Jesus, that you actually will become something much stronger than you are alone. And sometimes I share this metaphor where things happen in marriage. If you guys are married, you can attest to this, where it's like you get married, you start your life, you're doing all these things, you come home and you're tired, you're from work and all these things that you've been up to in your days. You've given everybody your best time of day, everyone your best hours, and you come home and your wife, and all of a sudden you're facing your wife and you start fighting face to face. And I said, no, that's not what it's about. From here on out, the idea is that you're not fighting face-to-face, you're actually fighting back-to-back with Jesus at the center. Now my boys, listen to this, my boys are in Taekwondo. Probably biggest mistake ever that I put them in Taekwondo. Because this is a picture of my boys in Taekwondo, by the way. Sawyer and Finn. The first time they came home after their very first Taekwondo class, now granted, they were like white belt, like bleach white belt. They come up to me and said, Dad, there's gonna be some new rules in the house. You guys already know where it's going. Now, in my brain, I was thinking like, okay, like they're gonna talk about strength and honor and all that stuff you see in the Kung Fu movies, right? Like, but they go, no, Dad, sit down, we need to talk to you. Like, we need you to know that we're gonna be making the rules from here on out. Because what we learned in Taekwondo today is that we could kill you in one punch. So from here on out, we're making the rules. And as my boys, they're like in their fighting stance, like looking at me all weird, right? Like my boys are like together. They start to realize how strong they are with their newfound power. Then my girls jump in. They're like, hey, well, you need to get in on this too. And they're like, do they realize that? So all four of them are standing there like looking at me like, Dad, we're making the rules now. And being the loving dad that I am, you know, we had to have a wrestling match at that moment to show them, yes, they are stronger together, but still not as strong as Dad. But this idea that we're stronger together, that it's woven into us. But here's the thing. The idea isn't just that you guys need to be in community, that we need to be in community. The idea is also that Jesus needs to be at the center. The idea is that marriage and friendships and family are so much important, but that not only do we belong with that, we belong with Jesus as well. And if you take nothing else away from today, I want you to hear this. And this might be hard to hear even for some of you. Jesus doesn't need you. I know you're great, super good at everything, but Jesus doesn't need you. You need Jesus. And here's the thing that's odd to me sometimes. Oftentimes we go about our lives, we build our relationships, we build our friendships, and when we decide who we're taking with us, oftentimes we leave Jesus out. And what's funny to me is those same people who leave Jesus out often blame him for when their lives go astray. And we leave him behind where our lives fall apart. We get angry, but here's the crazy thing. This is what I love about Jesus. Even though you choose to leave him behind 2,000 years ago, Jesus chose not to leave you behind. And if Jesus were here right now in this moment and we asked him the same question, Jesus, who are you there for? He'd say, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And if anyone could have had it all, had everything, and didn't need anyone, it would have been him. But yet for some reason, the God of this universe, the God who created everything, the God whom nothing is impossible for, decided it wasn't even worth doing without you. And the idea is that if God values us that much, we should value not only him that much, but each other that much. And you can do church online, you can listen to preaching on the internet, you can listen to great music on Spotify, but you can't do life or church, even for that matter, without people. So can I ask you a question? Once you have it all, what are you gonna wish you still had? Who are you there for? Are you just showing up for yourself, or are you showing up for people? Are you just trying to struggle and make it through the day, or are you gonna make sure someone else is making it through with you? Here's the thing, I became a follower of Jesus when I was a teenager. I was going through a rough time in my life. I was looking for hope. I was looking for friendship. I was looking for respect for all the wrong places. But then it led me to addiction. It led me to pain. It led me to getting kicked out of school. And my parents during this time had actually become Christians. They had actually become followers of Jesus. And in hopes that I would too, what they started doing was they would not only just bring me to church, they would bring me to youth group on Wednesday nights. Most of the time I wouldn't go in, or if I did get in, they'd probably kick me out. Like, you can't smoke in here. I'm like, why not? So most of the time I would just hang out in the parking lot. And there was one of the nights, I remember I was in the parking lot and I saw this nice car who had this nice rims, and I decided, hey, those are nice. I'll take those for myself. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any tools with me. I don't know what I was thinking. How are you supposed to steal wheels off a car? You didn't have a jack. But as I was trying to do this, as I was getting onto the first one, everyone else was inside at this point, I feel this tap on my shoulder. It was Kevin. It was a man named Kevin. Guess who Kevin was? He was the youth pastor. Like, man, aren't you supposed to be inside? Kevin could have done a couple of things to me in that moment as I'm trying to steal the wheels off of his car. He could have punched me in the face, right? He could have called the police. He could have had me arrested. He could have had me thrown in jail, whatever. But can I tell you what Kevin did instead? He sat with me there in that moment, and he shared the hope and the love of Jesus Christ. And not only did he sit with me in that moment, over the next few years as I explored who Jesus was, as I explored faith, as I explored this idea of what it means to be a Christian, Kevin walked alongside of me in those years. And eventually I came to know Jesus as my Lord and Savior because Kevin, 25 years ago, said, I'm not leaving this kid behind. And so when I asked that question I've asked over and over again, that once you have it all, what are you gonna wish you still had? Kevin got it. He understood the assignment, that it was about people, that it was about Jesus at the center with people alongside of you, and that was the only thing he could bring alongside. And 2,000 years ago when Jesus died on the cross, even though we gave him our hate, our violence, our rejection, our disdain, he said, you do what you have to do. I'll do what I have to do because I'm here for you. And the reason we're here for you is because Jesus refuses to leave you behind. Two are better than one. A 3-cord strand is not easily broken. In the moment we commit our lives to Jesus, this is important to know. We commit our lives to each other as well. And I want to end and just close in prayer and a bit of a challenge for us. If you guys just close your eyes for a sec. I want to give you this opportunity, even in this moment, where maybe you've been exploring faith, and maybe you've been exploring this, and maybe you're here and you've never committed your life to him, you've never trusted your life to Jesus, but you thought about it, you've put it off, but you're ready to cross that line. I want to pray with you right now. And just in your seat there, I want you just to pray these simple words. Jesus, I give you my life. Jesus, I give you my life. Jesus, I give you my life. I want you to know, if this is your prayer today, that Jesus has heard you. He's here for you. He's not going to leave you behind. He made a choice to do this with you. And one thing I learned in my years is following Jesus, that he doesn't just take problems from you, but he walks alongside of you to show you what can be possible through him. If you prayed these prayers, I want you to know, we're here to walk alongside of you. Tell someone today what you prayed. But I also want to challenge some of you people in here. Maybe you've been a Christian for a few years, but maybe you just feel desperately alone in this moment. You're here because you're searching for people to do life with. And I want you to know that today can be the day where you actually find those people, those friends that you bind together with in life with. And so today after the service, I want you to don't be weird about it, but introduce yourself to somebody. Say hi, learn their name. And if they're not weird, invite them to coffee. Take them out to lunch. And then I have a challenge for people who are a part of small groups. Maybe you're a part of community. Maybe you have this, and maybe I'm like, that saying, preach into the choir. I've never preached with a choir behind me. I don't know what that's like, but maybe you have that small group. I would encourage you, look outside of it as well. Bring people in. Bring people along with you. So Jesus, we just give you thanks that you didn't leave us behind, that you don't leave us behind. We thank you for community. We thank you that 2,000 years ago, you chose not to leave us behind. So we praise your name, Jesus. Amen. Southside, thank you so much. Would you just join us to stand up, and let's worship together as we close off.
So we're going to close this morning with a song. It was amazing to hear from Jordan about community and loving each other and looking outward and being there for one another. And the truth is that there's a direct relationship between our ability to love others and our understanding of God's great love for us. And when we have a relationship with Jesus, when we let him remind us or maybe tell us for the first time how much he cares for us, how we're fearfully and wonderfully made, how we're fully known and fully loved, it's from that foundation that we're able to look outward. We're able to love others well. And so we're going to use this next song as just an opportunity to come before Jesus, maybe for the first time, maybe for the 1,000th time, and just to tell him that you want to make him your priority, that you want that relationship with him. You want to know him and be known by him. You want to love him and be loved by him. That we want to come together and we want to put him first. So let's sing.
I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessing. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I just sang another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. And I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I forgot that you're enough. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. And I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Oh, nothing else, Jesus. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else.
So Jesus, we come before you this morning and we're just filled with gratitude. We thank you so much for your great love for us, for your love for us as a whole, and for your love for each and every single one of us here. So Lord, I just pray for every individual listening online or here in person, that they would just have a deeper understanding this morning of how much you care for them. And from that place, help us to look outward and love the world around us. In Jesus' name, amen. For you guys, this amazing Sunday with all of you. Take care, and we'll see you back next week.